Plain and simple, it is absolutely over for the Liberals and the NDP. They can continue their coalition all they want, but Canadians are fed up, which is why you're seeing every single place that Justin Trudeau shows up, his now ex-wife Sophie and Jagmeet Singh, and even other B-team Liberals. And what do I mean by B-team? I mean, they're not the front row Liberals. Marco Mendicino, unfortunately, is an A-team Liberal. Now, it doesn't mean that they're good people. It just means that they're part of the starter bench. Everywhere the B-team, A-team Liberals go, and now the NDP, they get heckled. Canadians have had enough, rightfully so. And we're going to get into all of this in today's video. Welcome back, everybody. Before we get into it, I encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps grow the channel. We're fighting government suppression. We're fighting Justin Trudeau's personal algorithm. We're fighting YouTube suppression. There's so many reasons why subscribing with those post notifications on adds a layer of insurance in order for you to actually be notified of upcoming or recently posted videos. Without further ado, let's take a look at what Jagmeet Singh is focusing on. Instead of housing, instead of a drug crisis, instead of crime out of control, his focus is Loblaws and Sobeys and Metro CEOs. He's focused on grocery store CEOs because he thinks that the most important thing to tackle is a few people in Canada, a few CEOs. That's it. So let's take a look at his post here. Then we're going to take a look at him recently getting heckled and just pulling like the homophobe card. Like, it's just so bizarre. This person is so strange. Together, Loblaws, Sobeys, and Metro earned over $3.6 billion in profit last year. Well, they're major chains. That doesn't really mean too much. While you struggle, corporate grocery stores continue to rake in record profits. No doubt about it. No doubt about that, Jagmeet. I actually kind of agree with that point that, yeah, CEOs are greedy, but the government doesn't fix the price for food. So if there's higher cost of transportation because of a 2x carbon tax, or if there's higher cost of manufacturing stuff, then yeah, of course, that's going to come onto the consumer. So it's actually federal policies that have made groceries more expensive. A grocery store or a business will never sell a product for less than what it bought. That's common sense. They have profit margins they need to cover. So it's actually government policies, sir, that are affecting the cost of groceries. To lower grocery prices, we need more competition. That's actually a point I agree on. Bigger fines for price fixing. Well, again, how about bigger fines for the people that have voted for the 2x carbon tax and an excess profits tax? Well, how about we focus on reducing the carbon tax so that not only everyday people that are filling up their vehicles aren't being gouged or heating their homes or using electricity, right? How about we focus on these ridiculous federal policies that have just affected the average person, but that also gets put onto businesses and their costs and then increase of price. Like, his focus is so weird, which is probably why there's this article that has hit mainstream media of Jagmeet getting heckled by somebody driving by in Newfoundland. Let's take a look at the video.
Drove by there. Some of that might have been. Can you repeat those 3 points again? Sure. Just because we don't want to use that whole areas again.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe I'll take a pause if anything goes on. If not, I'll say it straight.
I am getting it here because of the background noise on site.
Your homophobia is very inappropriate. It's very inappropriate.
So is this Jagmeet Singh coming out of the closet or something? Because I know it's a little hard to hear. The audio is very, very low, and boosting it on the back end might actually make it a little grainy. But the person who stopped in the middle of the road called Jagmeet a POS. This guy right here in the car there. He called Jagmeet a POS, and Jagmeet said, "Hey, you're a homophobe, sir. You're a homophobe." I'm sorry. What? That's like somebody pulling a race card right away, but it doesn't make any sense. Maybe if you pulled the race card, it'd make it a little bit more sense. But the fact that he's calling him, hey, you're a homophobe, that has nothing to do with anything. Are you gay, Jagmeet? Is he picking on your sexuality? Because last time I checked, you had a wife and you had kids. So what does that have to do, calling you a POS, like right away, self-victimizing yourself? And that's the issue we're seeing in Canada and Canadian culture right now, is not only regular people are self-victimizing themselves, but politicians are. Like, this is just the most absurd reaction.
Your homophobia is very inappropriate. It's very inappropriate. You're driving away.
And then they mute the audio.
I'm right here. You can have a conversation if you like.
Yeah, if you could, sorry about that. If you could repeat the 3 point plan.
Yeah, so what we need to do is, when it comes to the cost of groceries, there's 3 things we can do. One is we need to increase competition. We have the Competition Bureau.
And then he's focusing on groceries and CEOs. It's just very strange that he would resort to homophobia. Like, he's calling you a piece of garbage and you're like, hey, that's homophobic. Are you saying gay people are garbage? Like, the delusion is just so obvious now. And if you're an NDP supporter, I actually pity you. I pity you that this is the person that is running your federal party. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to our democracy. It's an embarrassment to elected officials. And frankly, it's an embarrassment to the entire NDP party. And speaking of embarrassment, well, we all know that Justin Trudeau is getting divorced. And so Global News came out with this video. Let's take a look at this here.
After 18 years of marriage, one of Canada's most high-profile couples are breaking up. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Sophie Gregoire Trudeau announcing in near-simultaneous Instagram posts that after many meaningful and difficult conversations, we've made the decision to separate.
So I made a comment in my previous video that was dedicated to their divorce, and I kind of want to retract it. I made the comment, and it was just here while I'm in my studio, and I said it without really thinking. That was, he can't manage his own marriage, so how can he manage a country? And I can see how that's a cheap shot now. And so I apologize, because to anybody who has been divorced, there are a lot of toxic relationships or reasons that are not about managing your household that have to do with divorce. So I took a shot at Trudeau, and some people, I saw the comments, took it personally and said, hey, that's a little bit out of line. And so you're right. You're right. That was a cheap shot. So I retract that statement and I apologize. See how hard it is to do that? Not very hard at all. I apologize for that cheap shot. So for those who got upset, there you go.
As always, we remain a close family with deep love and respect for each other and for everything we have built and will continue to build. The Prime Minister's office.
The weirdest statement in this is this last one here on the screen, the text. For the well-being of our children, we ask that you respect our and their privacy. Thank you. But you released a Instagram post and you're a public person. So if you want to be respected for your privacy, which I totally understand, then why even mention this at all? Why make a public Instagram post? Why, have this something in headlines? Why not just move on and your wife not be in the picture? Like, why do you need to make a statement? Like, you don't have to. It's your personal life. You don't have to announce that you've had a divorce. You're the Prime Minister of Canada. How do you think the press is going to handle it? Do you really think that they're going to say, oh yeah, of course, we're not going to make a headline, or Mr. Sunshine Baby's not going to make a YouTube video? Like, come on, dude, come on. Of course. You're a hated person, Justin Trudeau. Your children know that. Your wife knows that. The whole country knows that. So of course people are going to talk about it and make fun of you.
And will continue to build. The Prime Minister's office added they have both signed a legal separation agreement. Justin Trudeau met Sophie Gregoire Trudeau after co-hosting a fundraising gala in the early 2000s when she worked as a television reporter. The two quickly started dating and married in 2005 in Montreal. In a ceremony, they created substantial buzz for pre-politics Trudeau. But once Trudeau was elected as an MP, Gregoire Trudeau often appeared with him publicly, playing a key role in him becoming Liberal leader and his 2015 federal election win.
So there's a lot of different jokes to be made, and I'm going to try and get them all out right now. Sophie is shuffling her cabinet. Justin Trudeau can now marry Macron. Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh can now get married. There's so many jokes to be made. But my favorite, of course, is the shuffling of the cabinet. And well, Trudeau's priorities are obviously not in order. And while it is a little bit of a cheap shot to poke fun at his marriage and say, well, he didn't prioritize his marriage. That's not the only thing he doesn't prioritize. He doesn't prioritize housing here in Canada. That's right. He wants to flood the country with immigration, with, refugees or whatever it is, and targeted immigration. I think most people can agree that that's actually a good thing for a country. We have a lack of jobs and we need people to fill them. You bring in immigrants or people into the country that can fill those jobs. That's called targeted immigration. But just opening the gates and letting literally 1 million people come into a country with what seemed like 2 years ago we had like 30 or 32 million. So I don't know how we have 40 million, because we certainly don't have the infrastructure to accommodate 1 million new people coming in per year. This is where Justin Trudeau says his priorities are, or in this case, are not. Let's take a look at this video.
And I'll be blunt as well. Housing isn't a primary federal responsibility. Housing isn't a primary federal responsibility. Housing isn't a primary federal responsibility. Housing isn't a primary federal responsibility.
And you can see there on the source, Global News, July 31st, 2023, just a few days ago. And this is a really big issue at the federal level because Justin Trudeau knows, and he's acknowledged that there's a housing crisis. He's the one that's advocating for 1 million people to come in per year into Canada with a target of by the year 2070 or 2100 to have 100 million people here in Canada. Now, chances are, if you're watching this video, you and I won't be around by the year 2100, but you never know. I was born in like 93, so maybe I could be like 110 years old. Who knows? But the fact is that housing is a federal responsibility. You're managing a country. You have to manage where the people are going to live. Now, breaking it down to be like, hey, I'm the prime minister. I think that we should have a subdivision extended outside of Vancouver or outside of Edmonton or Calgary. That's a little bit out of your scope. You leave that to the provinces, right? Or the municipalities. But actually enabling and encouraging municipalities or provinces to have more access to building resources, less government red tape, less barriers to actually get things done is 100% federal responsibility. And that's why you see Pierre Poilievre talk about this stuff, but now he's talking about it gets more surreal. A government law is making news disappear from the internet. When Trudeau said he admired China's basic dictatorship, he meant it. I will give people back control of their speech and lives in the freest nation on earth. And if you're not caught up on what exactly Pierre is referring to, he's talking about how the fact that the government wants to basically give money for their like a exclusive deal. So you hear about like big YouTubers moving to Rumble or even big YouTubers getting exclusive deals here on the platform on YouTube or even Facebook. People get exclusive deals on Facebook. So what Justin Trudeau and the Liberals want is an exclusive deal for all mainstream media to have on Facebook. That's exactly what they want. They want them to get paid an arbitrary number of $100,000 or $500,000 per year for their existence to be on that platform. And well, Facebook or Meta clapped back and said, no, this is the Wild West. This is a free market. Anyone who wants to gain ad revenue from our platform is free to do so, but we're not going to give exclusive deals to media. We say that to a small fringe, press minority in Canada. And then all of a sudden all the countries around the world want that. That's just not sustainable. So Meta has actually blocked mainstream media for being on their platforms. That's right. You can't access, or soon to be, you can't access Global News, CTV, CBC, all the mainstream media here in Canada. And the Liberals are not happy with that. They're saying that this is suppression. Well, you guys are asking for a deal that just doesn't make any sense. So Stephen Gilbo, the man who famously wore a orange jumpsuit and climbed the CN Tower as a radical activist, is responding to Pierre Poilievre, saying the only person who has not denounced Meta's irresponsible actions is Pierre Poilievre. If the Conservatives really cared about censorship, they would stand up for the fair treatment and value of Canada's local news publications. It's a free market. You do not get a monopoly. The 60s and the 70s are over. Getting specific blocks of time on television based on your political views and the politicization of mainstream television and now mainstream media, that is over, buddy. It's a free market. And if content creators are going to overgrow and surpass the influence of mainstream media, then the only ones left holding the bag are these idiot left-wing radical members of parliament that are going to be stuck in their ways. You do not get an exclusive deal because you're mainstream media. You're government subsidized. There's your money. In fact, give us back your money because we don't even want you to be government subsidized. And that's what the Conservatives are fighting for. They want to empower people to have more money and have more opportunities. Meanwhile, Liberals want free handouts. They want people to have free handouts from the government. They want to get you sucked in on the IV of the system. They want you hooked up right there by a vein to their system, their EI programs or their CERB programs. And now they want that to happen as well for their mainstream propaganda, but for tech companies. They're saying, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're China. I mean, we're Canada. You have to pay our mainstream media because it's not fair. It's not fair. And well, here's what a conservative member of parliament has to say. Michelle Rempel Garner recently posted a YouTube video about the matter. We're just going to watch a minute of it or so.
Okay, guys, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is actually happening. So we know that Justin Trudeau's censorship bill C-18 passed in late June, and Meta and Google said that they would be banning the publication of news in Canada on their platforms. This is not a drill. This is actually happening. It is starting today as we speak. So this is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This is not known as to be like a bastion of conservative thought or whatever. This is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and it is reporting right now that Meta is ending news availability on its platforms in Canada starting today. It's starting now as we speak. Meta's been taking time to get this news ban in place. It is in place. It's rolling out. If you are in Canada, you are not going to be able to see news on Facebook, Google very shortly. It is starting. This is because of Justin Trudeau's censorship bill. This is crazy. This is on the CBC. It is true. It's happening. Here's what I need you to do. Share this video. This isn't partisan. Every Canadian needs to understand that because of Justin Trudeau's censorship bill C-18, they're not going to be able to see the news on Facebook or on Google.
So if you aren't convinced yet that Canada is literally being a copycat of China and the dictatorship laws that are in place there, then as they say in the South, bless your heart, because everything that Trudeau and the Liberals are doing are proving more and more this isn't a conspiracy. For crying out loud. I'm not a conspiracy channel. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. These are not conspiracies. They're really happening. And if you're a radical woke liberal who isn't yet woken up to this, well, then you might as well move to China and enjoy your freedoms there, because the liberals are censoring the internet. Now, as much as we can pretty much agree that CBC, CTV, Global, a lot of their stuff is propaganda, it very much supports the liberal ideologies, and they don't have a opposition view. It's very one-sided. It's not neutral at all. And like 99% of their work, it's still kind of an important thing to have that. Now, not subsidized by the government, but it's important to have a form of mainstream media, because a lot of people, independent people, don't have the resources to be in all of those places at once, right? There's so many things happening in the West Coast, in the center, on the East Coast, North, South, everywhere. So it's important to have these massive companies on the ground doing their job. Now, as spectators or as a political YouTuber, whatever I'm considered, now I like to call out a lot of what they're doing, and we get more views than them. So it's not like mainstream media has a monopoly on their influence. It seems like content creators do. So I don't know why they're having this standoff, because Meta, or as Michelle Rempel Garner said, Meta, right, Facebook, isn't going to back down. And I don't think the liberals will either. So this is a standoff until there is new leadership, which, well, good thing we're coming into election season very, very shortly, because I've already called it that I really, truly think the Conservative will get a majority government. But that's where we're going to end this video. I'd love to know what you guys have to say about any of the news topics that we've covered. And I'd love to know what you think about the upcoming election. Do you think, like me, are you optimistic the Conservatives are going to win a majority government? Because I am becoming more and more optimistic about it every single day. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe and turn those post notifications on your way out. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.